What else are you going to need the day of the eviction? Part 2. Okay, it's actually quite quick. It's actually quite simple. You need to assemble your team. Your team is going to consist of the locksmith. The locksmith is super important. Make sure you mention to the locksmith that you're doing the eviction today so he can come prepared with change of locks. The locksmith is also capable of breaking open the door with the way locksmiths do that, right? They're very magical with their hands and their tools. If your locksmith is not capable of securing the premises, the eviction is rescheduled because the sheriff cannot leave until the premises are secured. The second piece of the puzzle is to have your movers ready. These people, they could come one guy, two guy. You need to call a company who specializes in moving the tenant's stuff and throwing it into a truck, right? So there are regulation and rules and that prevents you from just taking the tenant stuff and putting it on the street or on the roads. So you can't just hire your friends. So you want to go with someone that is familiar with the regulation and the legalese of the state, district, county, or whatever, and hire them, okay? They are not cheap, okay? So they need to be paid. The damage assessor. So I highly recommend, and I still cannot comprehend why landlords don't do this. You need to sue or potentially have a full report of the damages in your property the day of the eviction. So you need to bring someone in to come in and assess the damages, see the damages. That's also a professional. They fall more towards the inspection kind of people, but they're there with a trained eye to see stuff that are beyond wear and tear. And of course, the last thing you want to be prepared of is expect to spend money because those people need to be paid, all right? And what you'll notice is that most of the time, the deadbeat tenants have no idea that they're there to be evicted. What you do not want to do, you do not want to give them concessions. And the reason why is because their first reaction is to call for help. They're going to call their friends, bring your car, help me out. And so if you give them too much time in the property, you're going to find yourself with 6, 7, 8 people right at your door. And things can get very dangerous. You don't know who those people are. So you don't want to take the chance of having them the time to call for backup. Another thing also to take in consideration and in mind is that eventually the sheriff cannot stay there forever. And the sheriff will have to leave. And the sheriff will tell the deadbeat tenant the rules, which is, once I leave, you cannot come back here. It's trespassing, right? Which is a criminal offense. But because they're deadbeats, they're not going to listen, right? And so there's a high chance that they leave with the sheriff, but they come back and try to barge themselves in. It's important that you call 911. It's important that you call the police because these scenarios can turn very, very deadly violent in a heartbeat, right? Because you are taking somebody's stuff and throwing it in the garbage. These are emotional stuff and there's going to be a visceral reaction, right? Things are very volatile and there's a lot of moving pieces and they might be waiting for you on the street, which they can because the street is a public space. But do not hesitate to call 911. Don't be nice because your life can be in danger. Do you understand? If they cross that line and step on the property, you call 911. And if they do it continuously, then what you do is you request for a police car to be around so they don't bother or interfere with the eviction, all right? Because the longer they interfere with the eviction, the more money is going to cost you because those movers are paid by the hour. You want that stuff done. You don't want anybody in the way. You really need to put your business hat on and you really need to be extremely due diligent. Take their emotions out the door. If you want it to be emotional, the eviction day is not the time. They had and you had plenty of months to call in your emotional self. This is the day of deliverance. You need to be strategical, mathematical, and execute without delay or hesitation. Good luck on your eviction.